show kind of headed towards, Chico, Twin Sisters, and then it's real neat down the middle of the valley. It's called Synthetic Vision. So, and we're putting, we have that new mandate that you got to put in what's called the ADSB, and ADSB mandate. And so I was thinking, wow, what else can I put in there? Now's an opportunity to kind of upgrade those. The other thing is David, the next phase for David is instrument ticket. So it's nice to have as much situational awareness as possible. And so let's have a full-blown HSI driven by the autopilot stuff, heading bugs, you can set heading bugs, and just kind of, so, and it has an HSI. He's driving the bus. I guess they're starting.
Right. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Judd.
Here.
Commissioner Scattini. Meyer.
Here.
Houston. Here. Sanzeri.
Here.
And I am here. And attendance is noted. The Commissioners Machado and Martinez are missing.
Did anybody hear anything from any of them? Guess not. Okay. Could we have verification of agenda posting, please?
The agenda for the Airport Advisory Commission of the City of Hollister special meeting of December 14th was posted on the bulletin board at City Hall on December 9th at 10 a.m. per Government Code Section 54954.6.
Thank you. Item 5 is a consent. Would have entertained a motion to accept, unless somebody has an issue, but accept the minutes.
So moved.
That was
Second.
Robbie. Okay.
March
And
2nd.
Marge and Robbie and Marge. Okay, if there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, item 6 is public input. This is a time for anybody who would like to speak on any matters within our jurisdiction, but which are not on the agenda. Speak now. Nope, no cards? Okay. Item 7 is reports. Item 7A is AIP Phase 1.
Good evening, Commissioners. Legal sent a letter to the contractor on the Phase 1 runway project to let them know that we'd really like them to fix the deficiencies. The contractor sent us a letter back saying, effectively, we're not, because you're using the runway. That tells us it's not deficient. So legal's preparing an appropriate response.
Okay. Thank you. Item 7B is CAL FIRE.
So on the issue of the extension of the current lease, we're still waiting to hear from General Services on the extension. That hasn't happened yet. And then on the lobbying efforts, we're making an appointment with newly elected Representative Caballero to go over the project with her.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Nope. All right, 7C is AIP 18 ALP update.
So we did the initial meeting, and the next is the surveying. It'll take place right after Christmas. So there'll be probably a few weeks with people out there taking GPS recordings of corners of buildings. So if you see somebody with sticks at your building, that's what they're doing, because they're actually going to get GPS locations of the features on the airport for the first time.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Nope. Okay, item 7D is PAPI.
I got nothing to report on that one.
You were going to call.
Mm-hmm.
Did you call?
Mm-hmm. That's why I got nothing to report.
Well, okay. There's still time.
There is.
Okay. Item 7E is air show.
So on November 21st, I presented the air show information to the council and requested direction from the council on how to proceed. And staff recommended canceling the air show because we could not do what the mayor asked us to do. And basically that was for the air show committee to raise $20,000 so the air show didn't lose any money. At that meeting, by a 3-2 vote, the council directed me to bring the item back at the next meeting and schedule the air show. So because of the timing of ICAS, they were having a special meeting on the 28th, and I was able to get that on the agenda for that special meeting on the 28th. At the meeting on the 28th, by a 2-2 vote with one person abstaining, the item died. So the air show, in effect, is canceled because at that point, there was no time to bring it back until after ICAS. And once ICAS is done, there's no hiring people. And I can't ask, the people that to save dates when we don't know what's going on. So the air show for 2016 or 2017 is canceled.
Okay. I have a comment that I would like to address actually to the commission. And unfortunately, a couple of commissioners aren't here, which this particularly applies to. But even though I was the one that voted against this, the rest of the commission voted for the air show, and consequently, I certainly supported the commission's desires and wanted to see it go forward. And I was personally quite disappointed that it didn't go forward. And in thinking about it, I realized that we as a commission probably are not getting our message to the city council members. I know that we expect our airport director to take our message to them, and I know he does that. And he tells them what, how we voted and what our desires were. But based on some comments, I think, that were made by at least one council person, it's kind of like, well, they don't even know who the commissioners are, and, they just, who's on the commission and what's going on, and which there's no excuse for that, I don't think. But the fact of the matter is there's some confusion on the part of the council members. And what I'd like to address to our commissioners here, particularly those who are appointed by a council person, which is 5 of us, Marge and I are not, I'd like to suggest, if not encourage, and really encourage, that in cases like this, it's too late now for this air show, but I've seen it on occasion in the past where the city council basically goes against the wishes of the commission. And I think what we need to do is have the commissioners who are appointed by a council person actually contact their person that appointed them ahead of time and have a conversation with them and discuss this with them and try to get them to understand what the commission's point of view is, and so they walk into their city council meeting having heard from their individual appointee. And I don't think that's happened at all in this, and I'm just, I didn't say this before because I didn't think it'd be necessary, because I thought this whole thing was pretty obvious, but clearly it wasn't when it got to the council. So that's basically my comment is to the commission, and I won't be chairman after one more meeting or 2 more meetings. But I'd like to take this opportunity to just say, you really need to communicate with the person that appointed you when it comes to something like this. And I'm sorry that Jose and Gordon aren't here, because they were ones that were appointed by council people, along with Fred and Robbie and Steve. Yeah. And, yeah, you were by the, but for you, it'd be talk to the mayor.
Yeah.
And for the rest of them, talk to their council person. Because I think, had this happened, in hindsight, I'm trying to learn something from this. Hindsight, I think, had each commissioner talk to the person that appointed them, there might have been this business of dribbling it on over 2 or 3 meetings and not knowing quite what to do about it or quite understanding about it. I think we could have done a lot on our own to have solved that problem. And we just can't expect Mike to do that. In fact, if we read the bylaws, which we'll get to later, I think there is something in there that encourages communication between the commissioner and the person that appointed them. So I think this is a good example of where we kind of missed the boat, and this kind of on us a little bit. So that's all I had to say. Thank you. Any other comments or?
Marge's got that.
Marge, go ahead.
Who could I speak to? Would it be to
Well,
Mr.
you,
Graves?
you
or-
can speak to anybody. I mean, what I mean is, you,
What I mean is there someone in particular that I should,
well, any council person that you feel comfortable doing it.
Okay.
I mean, I talk to the mayor, if or, I mean, it's basically the city council, people that are on city council, which includes the mayor. And he's a voting member, I think. And,
I was just going to say I could write a letter and.
well, email, I mean, face-to-face doesn't hurt.
No,
In fact, sometimes it's more effective if you try and track them down and,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, go
I
ahead.
think the mayor's going to be here tonight.
Be here?
Yes, I asked him to come tonight,
Oh, well,
and he said he had a meeting to go to, and if he gets out, he'll come here.
well,
He
maybe
said
we'll,
probably be a little
might,
late.
yeah, that's what he said, mayor. Well, if he does, I guess we'll be willing to hear from him if he's had anything to say.
Maybe Marge can speak
But-
to him then.
well, then he'd know who we are.
It's it's a little, again, it's a little late, I'm afraid, for this particular item, but I think we should all keep it in mind for the future, again, particularly those who are appointed specifically by one of the council members, to communicate with them, and might save us some grief. So, enough on that subject. But no more comments? I've said enough. Next item is 7F, rider update.
So I believe on Monday, and I believe, because I saw the lease waiting for them to sign it, I didn't get to see it after it got signed. But I believe we have a new lease with the gliders and everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
They asked us to clean the gutters on Pickles building, so we did. That was their big ask.
They wanted gutters cleaned, or?
Yes, rain gutters,
Yeah, this is on Bickles Building?
yes.
Oh. Okay. Any comments, questions? Oh, okay. Old business, is item 8. 8A is trailer parking.
I have nothing to report on that.
Okay. New business, proposed bylaws, December meeting vote for January.
So I submitted to you folks by written notice 3 days ahead to let you know that there is a proposed change in the bylaws. That change is on page 4 of the bylaws, and it is one word. We changed the word June, which is struck out in the copy that you received in your agenda packet, and we're substituting the word February. So the election for a chairperson and vice chairperson would take place at the February meeting. So the procedure on this change is to introduce this change at this meeting, and then you shall vote on it in the January meeting.
So we don't need a vote tonight?
No action tonight.
Oh, so we're just to become knowledgeable about this change.
It's been introduced.
Okay. This certainly, to me, seems consistent with what we discussed
Just,
in the past, so If anybody has any comments or questions, we'll leave it at that. Okay. Item 9B is budget.
So, we're doing the budget a month early this year. So, just get it out of the way. The information I have on the screen is a little different than the information you have in front of you. The most recent information is the information you have in front of you. I used an old report from November for the balance statement. So our balance currently in our bank account is $708,000 cash. Now,
Okay, so this is on Fund 212.
Fund two, no, 601.
Oh, well, okay. Page 4.
Page.
Sorry.
Oh, I was
I didn't know you had 212.
That's,
three,
yeah,
4.
okay.
Okay,
3 or page?
okay,
That's page,
that makes a little more sense.
wait a minute.
I apologize,
We're looking under, what are we looking under?
because I don't have 212.
Are we looking under equity? Is that right?
Yeah, look under equity.
You said the
Uh-huh.
fund balance,
Fund balance reserve for
Reserve.
FAA matching is currently at $204,000.
That's what it says
993,
here.
yes.
Yes. The current fund balance we have reserved for capital improvements is $115,000.
That's what it says.
The current fund balance we have reserved for equipment replacement is $115,000. And the current fund balance reserved for major repairs is another $115,000. So that tells you your savings account. Now, this one will match what you have in your hand.
And not on this report, but the hangar inspections, when is that going to be? At the end of the
That
month?
is on the 30th.
Okay.
Starting at 8 o'clock. That's,
Okay, so if there are no more questions about the budget, and
what's next?
we're running out of things to talk about, here items for next agenda.
Let's see, where are we at here?
So I have 7A, 7B, 7C, 7D, 8A,
8A,
9A,
9A,
and 9B.
9B. There was something else. Something that we missed. Where were the minutes? Sorry, just a moment here. There was one other item I think that we missed tonight. Air show, restaurant. Well, maybe not.
I don't know of any.
Maybe it was, I think it was the progress on the, whatever we're calling it, the restaurant or whatever.
Okay,
Just let us know how it's going.
got it.
Okay. Is that what we're calling it, restaurant?
It's building 16, I think.
Well, just whatever. Okay. All right. That's it. Next meeting date, January 25th, 2017.
True and correct?
Okay. Meet here presumably?
Yes, sir.
All right. If there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Who was that?
Make a motion.
Robbie? Okay.
Go. Second.
You're seconding?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that Marge second? I guess. Okay. Any discussion?
I don't know if
Just
we-
keep milking it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting's adjourned.
Do you really want to adjourn the meeting?